Hello, this is Flare Knuckles. This is the recording for the second player on the Swordmaster's duo arduous amazing Wastelands strategy document, Wreckers Wastelands. You set your default target in the close to the base first, and then you just spam base level Wreckers, level 1, until you reach 27 or 29,000 cash. I personally recommend 29,000 cash. Unfortunately, there will be no gameplay audio since I kind of messed up my OBS settings. So you have to just deal with the voiceover and whatever background music I decide to put on. Hopefully it's not too bad. Honestly, this took like an embarrassingly long amount of time for us to complete. It took us like, I could probably ask Sword for a better estimate, but like 3 to 4 1 to 2 hour sessions each time. Like, we'd get to master, but the thing is that we'd keep on getting curved not by him because Quick Cape had Striker instead of Blazing Boots, which meant that the Quick Cape player did not have Marauders from Ruler to help sabotage Striker at the right sabotage Master at the right times. Since in my opinion at least, you would prefer to have something distracted Master while Striker is cloaked and deals as much damage as possible to Master from Ninja's Cloak Bomb increases Striker's fire rate by quite a bit. I personally recommend that unless you know exactly what you're doing, you just keep Wreckers close to base throughout the entire match. If you know they're going to get a really good hit in and that Wrecker won't really die, then you can set it to like highest max HP or ranged or whatever you're targeting. Whatever targeting you would want to be, you would want Wrecker to be set to. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention, a lot of the time your first player, player 1, will be pretty focused with whatever their role is, so I highly recommend that you lend a hand when it comes to floating / enemies that are really close to the base, like shouting at them to say, please catch us floating whenever there's a floating that gets by the main top part of the map, as you'll see in a quick second. Look like that right there. Honestly, it's my bad, I was kind of tabbed out, like I don't know what I was doing, I was probably just doing something pretty boring on the side, and I didn't really notice that floating. I don't think I actually do end up noticing the floating, I think it just dies to a Wrecker or two. Okay, I was planning to have like a script so I don't start all that much when I record this, but the thing is that I just can't be bothered to write a script that isn't just me complaining or talking about something that's completely off topic, so you have to just handle me stuttering from here and there. Here and there. Let's add some sort of soul to the video. But anyway, I'm getting pretty close to 27,000. I believe that I follow the 27,000 rule to the 29,000 rule. Problem is with 27,000 is that you don't really get enough cash to instantly upgrade Wrecker to max and place it. And never mind a lie, I do not what do you call it, upgrade Wrecker to max at 27,000. Am I AFK? Okay, no, never mind. Yeah, I unintentionally waited until I had enough cash to, well, more like I unintentionally waited until I had 29,000 cash to upgrade Wrecker to max. If you have a bunch of if you have 3 Wreckers alive right now, 3 to 2 Wreckers, depends on the placement limit, it depends on how much you placed. I'd recommend that you sell your level 1 low HP level 1 wreckers and replace them with max levels slowly. It doesn't really matter if they take much damage from glaze marks or anything like that, since honestly most of the enemies during this wave don't really deal all that much damage to Wrecker, since they're either frost blockers, ice brushers, or whatever else, which honestly deal like 5 damage max to her. And oh, I am lazy, I just don't even bother looking at the base, or even keeping an eye out for floatings. Luckily I think I step up my game from now on, since we're losing a scarily high amount of base HP. We don't have medic in this run, but I highly recommend that you bring medic as your free slot 2. Since honestly going for Edge of Death I do not recommend with this setup, since it's quite difficult. You would much prefer to have as much HP as possible on the base, so you're able to freely use Ninja's Cloak ability on Master Phase 2. Basically, with Master, Sim, and Virtue, if they attempt to cool down one of those like vertical lightning strikes on one of your units, if the unit is cloaked / on a watchtower, or on a cliff placement, or on a building, they're unable to actually attack the unit with the lightning strike, so they end up just hitting the base of it instead. And that can kill your run scarily fast if you're playing without medic, which I found it the hard way 5 too many times. I should probably insert some sort of clip of I figure it's this one time when one of my friends, Luca, attempted to cloak most of the units in this one Ghost Town Master's Army treacherous lobby, and then Virgin Water just smited the base, bringing it all the way down to 1 HP. Honestly, we kind of lost since I didn't beat Colossus well enough at all, Angelic Colossus, and got most of the non-moving defense killed. Those were screwed anyway. I didn't even bring Chef, so we just kind of getting most of our units confused. But we're going off topic, even without a script. Anyway, Wrecker's a blaze trait unit, so that means that lavas, which are immune to blaze trait, take like 0 damage from them. If your AV guy isn't really doing much that's all that important, I recommend you ask them to try and kill the lavas near your wreckers for you. Otherwise your wreckers just kind of get distracted by them and waste quite a lot of shots on them, and sometimes get like killed off by silver fighters rather distracted by the lava. And lava somehow deal like 6 damage per hit to wrecker as well, which is kind of annoying because you're saving up for striker, so you can't really afford to have too much wreckers die. I'm not sure on what your quick hit play could do exactly, but like sometimes we have runs where we have like 2 wreckers die max during this wave. Sometimes we have runs where like our wrecker's death rate is like once every 30 seconds and we have to like constantly spend cash to replace them. So anyways, point is, if your quick hit player can, see if they can try to kill lavas and other scary stuff for you. If they can't, it's okay, just let them do their job if not. Oh yeah, also another personal recommendation. If your quick hit player has Sentry unlocked, I believe they should replace their radar with Sentry, since they more or less do the same thing. They just supposed to be stuff to defend against enemies that are getting a little bit too close to the base. And Sentry's a much more reliable single target unit, and you won't really have much hordes going to the base. So I believe that Sentry will do a better job at doing the job that the unit at the back needs to do compared to radar. Obviously radar has broken signal and has a much larger, more like has actual AoE on its attacks. So if you're somehow struggling with a mecha enemy somehow getting to the base, or somehow hordes of enemies like guards, honestly guards shouldn't even get that low in the first place, but if you somehow have hordes of enemies getting in radar's range, then you can bring radar. But I still personally believe that you should bring Sentry if possible. To be honest, if you want, you can try and like set one or two of your records to highest max HP to try and get free hits on the mini Ravagers, but I personally don't really recommend that unless you're 100% sure that you're going to be able to get a hit in time, since a lot of the time from my experience just keeping records close to base gets them to rush them down pretty fast, since they're base rushes, so they'll normally get close to base faster than almost every other enemy on the map in like 2 seconds. Please don't forget to watch the skies for gliders during this section, since they, well, with us at least, they slip by very easily. Okay, I know it's like kind of boring right now since there's not really much for me to realistically talk about, but I swear it gets more interesting whenever we get to the bits when I buy Striker, since that's kind of the whole point of me recording this. Anyways, with Super, if noob fighters do lock onto him, then I recommend you set one or two of your records highest max HP, but a lot of time they just kinda, as you can see, just naturally go to Super Speedster before the noob fighters get to him. Okay, this bit is kind of a meat grinder for wreckers, since Toxicators and stuff deal a scarily high amount of damage to them, since they're fast moving and deal status effects rather than basic damage. Shield HP kind of doesn't do all that well against status effects, since they don't really care about shield HP most of the time. Actually no, I think all the time. Anyway, if you are getting Striker at Terminators, then I recommend you set your spawn to spawn 6, spawn Striker, then set at the highest max HP. Striker should always be set to my highest max HP when it's at max level, since the Stomps should handle most of the weaker enemies and you normally want strong enemies dead as fast as possible with Striker. You move it to the spawn on the top left where Terminator, Super Speedster and Glazemancer and a bunch of bosses spawn from, and they use it to basically spawn camp Terminator and Executioner Mark II. If possible, ask your Aviator player to have a Wrecker or two, have a Aviator or two above the Terminators to get rid of the defense too. And you, if you have a Wrecker alive, should set one of your Wreckers highest max HP to try and get a free hit on both of the bosses. Striker might get pretty low, so if you need to use everyone's rage, but I highly recommend you try to just save up rage for the fire form. What's it called again? I don't know, blaze something. Yeah, by the way, if you do have Striker before this bit, it's perfectly fine. Still continue spamming records even if they kind of like fall into a bit of a meat grinder and die in like 2 to 3 shots. They still normally make a profit for the team. Okay, if you're getting a Striker from now until Mathematician, spawn Striker at spawn 4, and no matter when you got your Striker, move your Striker to the spawn to the right of the screen right now, like the spawn that's close to the base. Obviously I've Striker the highest max HP, same rules here. Just try and get to Lightning Element as fast as possible. Save your rage for Lightning Element, unless your Striker's losing a scarily high amount of HP, and then it should be using everyone's rage to keep it alive. well, you should more or less just keep Striker at that position right now where it is right now on the screen until Avenger dies, since you want to get that boss dead as fast as possible. Well, you don't really need it dead as fast as possible, but you want to get rage from it, and it has a whole lot of HP, so it'll be a great source of rage. Anyway, now since you have Striker, you should be setting your spawn to, continue spamming records by the way, and get a max ruler from there. If you have, if Mathematician hasn't spawned yet, move Striker down, get the ruler passive buff on it, then move it back up to the position where it is right now on the screen. After you get your ruler, if you have medic, I highly recommend that you get medic instead of destructor or whatever you want to bring. Get 3 max level medics that spawn to and constantly use their ability so you get as much base HP as possible. If you don't really have much else to do, then I recommend that you move to banks, well, until Avenger's dead, and just watch banks so you can let the AVA player know when to collect them. If you can, try and do that throughout the whole match, but I know that Striker Sympathy requires a decent amount of effort and attention, so don't worry too much if you can't do that. Okay, if that kind of happens where, what do you call it? When Avenger kind of instantly dies, just don't worry about it, just move it to the spawn location where Terminators, Glaze Monster, whatever else spawned. You're going to be trying to kill Blute and Super Speed as fast as possible, mainly Blute. Since it's duo, Mathematicians, well, if you're decently faster Mathematician, you kind of run the risk of, of triggering the anti-cheat. I recommend that you intentionally wait a second or two, intentionally wait 4 seconds before putting in your answer. If you do 2 answers pretty fast, like if you complete 2 questions successfully in like 6 or 8 seconds total, intentionally wait 4 seconds after you put in your 3rd answer and then put in your answer, and then repeat this process if you're continuing to get answers done really fast. Anyway, Mathematician doesn't really do much to your defense, and there's not really much of a defense at the back, so you don't need to worry about completing them all that fast. But you can get the Art of Algebra badge achievement if you do complete them really fast, but like, you don't want to risk getting yourself kicked. Anyway, what you want to do now is move Striker like in a spot where, well, Super Speedster isn't here yet, but like try and move him in a spot where he's attacking both Blue and Super Speedster at the exact same time. I'll do it right now. See how I move him to the right of, well, it's more like Blue's left, your right. So his main attack deals damage to both Super Speedster and Blue at the same time. Remember, your Striker must be set to highest max HP. In my opinion, it's the best setting for max level Striker. Once you get Lightning Rage, you do not want to change your element form from now on, since you have, in my opinion, the most useful element for Striker. Now you just kind of let Super Speedster and Blue die. Once both of them die, you move Striker to the position that you see right now, more or less to the, like if you're facing spawn 6, to the top left of the spawn where Super Speedster and Blue came from. This is where Granite Giant will spawn. You'll be attempting to more or less spawn camp Granite Giant and Golem, if you're lucky. Don't worry, Granite Giant deals like 0 damage to Striker when he's in his first phase. Like, before Golem spawns, he deals like 60 damage or something to most units. To Strikers, I don't know, probably close to 20 or something. Striker has lifesteal, so it doesn't really matter. Well, almost lifesteal. He heals HP for every hit. Oh yeah, with your spare cash, you should be saving up for a Nightmare Dummy. You should be moving your Nightmare Dummy. I should be showing you right now. You should be moving Nightmare Dummy to where the first like bend is in the placement positions on the map. Towards the Nightmare Dummy's targeting doesn't really matter, but I recommend highest max HP or close to base depending on how things are going. You don't really need to do what I did there where I brought a Destructor, but like, if you need to, keep an eye on the back, but your Aviator player should be doing that since they have like nothing to do right now. Okay, now you would try to move Striker to the top right of the spawn. If you're looking towards spawn 6. Normally this would mean that Granite Golem will continue trying to melee Striker, but since he got pushed back by new fighters and wreckers, that didn't really happen, which is perfectly fine. Now you should be cloaking noob fighters if you have enough cash for a Max Ninja. You should get Max Ninja after you get your what's it called? After you get your Nightmare Dummy. Usually at like spawn 5, so you're able to instantly cloak the noob fighters. Okay, if you got past this section, great job. Now this is like, other than Master, this is one of the more trickier bits with Striker. Move Striker back to the spot where Avenger was. You're just going to be sitting there until Blazemaster spawns. Remember, from that one, you just spam max level ninjas from spawn 3 set the close to the base. Remember to try and cloak noob fighters and wreckers as much as you can. You want them alive no matter what. Striker can normally handle himself, but if you're worried, keep an eye on Striker. If you're somebody able to handle all of this micro, I recommend you just spam summons from Nightmare Dummy as well. They'll be useful for buying time for your noob fighters and wreckers to deal damage. I do not recommend that you buy wreckers until you start getting a lot of cash from Striker dealing damage during the Horde section. So TLDR, no wreckers during the Granite wave, get Nightmare Dummy, get a ninja if you have money. For the Horde wave, wait until you start getting a lot of cash, and well, from the start of the Horde wave, continue spamming ninjas throughout the rest of the match from spawn 3. Once you start getting a lot of cash, start spamming wreckers as well. Remember, when Blazemaster spawns, you move Striker back. I recommend you move Striker to around where spawn 3 is, because you do not want to have, well, most of the time you do not want to have Striker fight Blazemaster unless he's close to the defense, so since you're able to start like buying ninjas to kill his defense too. I don't know why I moved it early, but like normally just wait, and normally move it further down to where spawn 3 is. Okay, if noob fighters and wreckers do not kill Blazemaster until, well, if noob fighters and wreckers do not kill Blazemaster until he gets to this bend, once he gets past the bend, just kill him with Striker real quick. Don't do what I did where I moved it back, just move it to him and just get him killed as fast as possible. Remember to cloak Striker whenever you're fighting Blazemaster. I recommend that you use everyone's rage as well. You want this guy dead fast. Don't ask why I didn't use it here, I probably just straight up forgot. If you have Medic, move Striker to spawn 2 as fast as possible. Use a Medic ability to get rid of the fire. The fire deals a concerningly high amount of damage to Striker. When reanimated spawns, ruler should be set to highest max HP. You spawn 1 Marauder. When Marauder reaches reanimated and hits him, you should move Striker to him. Use Ninja's cloak ability on both Striker and Marauder. You just, whenever they both lose their cloak, use enough Ninja cloak, repeat this until reanimated is dead. they all start getting like clumped up like crazy like this, then you can probably move Striker in. I honestly just didn't bother yet since I wanted to like show that it could be done without Striker. It definitely can be done without Striker. I just messed up my Marauders. As you can see, I probably didn't even spawn enough at all. Okay, if you get past this section, great job. Now here comes the hardest bit for you. Now you move Striker pretty far down. I recommend in between spawn 2 and in between spawn 1 and 3. So right there where I move it, and you just kind of leave it there. If you don't do what I did and spam Nightmare Dummy summons just yet, wait until Master starts attacking Nightmare Dummy, and then he starts spamming summons. Anyway, this is going to be quite difficult, I apologize. You wait until Master gets to the corner where he is like around, yeah, just when he starts attacking Nightmare Dummy, you spam Marauders, like get as much as you possibly can. Actually no, you don't, get like 10, just get 10. Like click 10 or click Ruler's summon thingy on Marauder 10 times. When the first Marauder gets to Master, you use Striker's critical curse, you move Striker behind Master, you use Ninja's cloak bomb on Striker only. Like try and make sure that only Striker gets cloaked, do not let the Marauders get cloaked. Then you use everyone's rage, keep Striker behind Master. If Striker's losing a lot of HP and you have a Ninja cloak, please move Striker back until you get enough of a Ninja cloak and then move Striker back behind Master. You repeat this all the way until Master is dead. Remember you can also spam Rekka and whatever other unit you brought as well. I only recommend you do that if you have a lot of cash, but you should have like a student amount of cash from dealing damage to Striker and his summons. I mean, dealing damage to Master and his summons. Okay, congratulations, now you basically won. Make sure Striker is behind Master for phase 2. Master applies a very strong sabotage and fire rate slowdown to enemies that he hits. He targets the enemy, well, more like your unit close to base. You just want to bait him to attack units close to base. I recommend you just spam Marauders from Ruler to do this for you. Stop one of the Marauders so that he always has a target to attack. If you do not have medic, do not use any ninja cloaks at all, please, otherwise he's gonna start just killing the base of his lightning strikes instead, and you do not have enough base HP to deal with that. Anyways, just a victory lap. If you've listened to all the advice, you know what to do for this section. You just kinda leave Striker behind Master, use his abilities, win. Okay, that's all. Well done as usual. Thanks for listening in. I apologize for there not being any sort of gameplay audio. Please let me know in the comments if there's any sort of help you need with this, since I do understand it is very hard for a world title of a strategy document. From the stuff I've seen nowadays, they're normally a lot more forgiving. Like, to be fair, it is Blazing Wastelands arduous with only 2 players. Well, special thanks to Swordmaster / whatever else he's called, I don't know, Ink or whatever, for inviting me for this. I appreciate it. It was actually kind of fun doing this with him, even though we kind of got clobbered by Master a whole lot of times. Like, you have no clue how annoying it is to only struggle with like the final bit on something like this, like spending 25 minutes to get to Master and then losing and then having to do this like 3 more times, and that's like 75 an hour and 15 just kind of gone. But anyway, I do not know if I have editor permissions on the document, but if I do, then I probably would be adding some extra notes when it comes to Striker. But to be honest, most of the notes will just be stuff that I said during the video. See you around. If I do see, well, more like a better goodbye is, hope you have a good day. See you later.